I'm going to walk you through what we use as a DBA scheduler. Now remember, the DBA is the discussion-based assessment that we do over the telephone with students, or sometimes in the Adobe Classroom or over Skype if the student is international, but you definitely need to be able to hear the student's voice. It is the way that we authenticate that indeed it is the student doing the student's work. So we have decided to use Setmore as our DBA scheduler, and it is so much easier using the scheduler as opposed to going back and forth on email or making calls and them calling you back. Using the scheduler is fantastic. The student goes, they schedule their appointment with you. You call them at the scheduled time so that you're in control of that call, and you finish the call, and that's all there is to it. So right now I'm going to walk you through setting up the DBA scheduler, and like I said, we do use setmore.com. And there's the web address right there for you, setmore.com. So if you've never set up a Setmore account, we're going to go and click on Start Now. You're going to go ahead and put in your name and the email address that you choose to use. And there's the dog barking. I knew that was going to happen. Now this email address is not necessarily going to be the email. It doesn't have to be the email address that you use to get your notifications. I'll show you where we can make that change. Okay, so here we can put in our business is Calvert Education, our industry education, and here you can either put in your Google Voice phone number or the company's phone number. This information, I honestly can't remember off the top of my head if it is displayed or not. We're going to walk through this, but then we're going to go through all of the details that we want each teacher to have to be sure that our sites are consistent so a student understands what they're looking at. Now, your business hours, you're going to want to make these as broad as possible, because this does not mean this is when you're accepting calls. This means all of the possible times that you will be accepting calls from. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I know that I take calls. This is me personally. I take calls anywhere from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now that doesn't mean every day I take calls from 4 to 8 p.m. and I'm going to show you that. We're going to set up distinct little nuggets. I don't know if nuggets is the right word, but little segments of time. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click on Next. The staff for your site is just going to be you. So you're not adding any more staff. It's only going to be you. Now the services that you have is just going to be your discussion-based assessment. Now I teach more than one course, so I can tell you that I would have, for example, an algebra DBA, and then I'm also going to add, and my algebra DBA is 15 minutes, and all staff will be able to perform the service. There's only one of me, so we're going to add that. We're going to get rid of the sample service, and then I'm also going to add my physics DBA. Now I want you to keep in mind, if you just want to put a DBA, you certainly can put just DBA. When the student books the appointment, if you don't know off the top of your head which class they belong to, it could just get a little bit confusing. So it really doesn't matter. What's very important is that you put $0. We don't want the students being scared that they have to pay money in order to book an appointment. So there you go. I mean, technically it's set up right now. The problem is right now, you can see I basically would be accepting calls anywhere from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we don't want to do that. And here's this little dude down here. He always tries to talk to me, but I don't let him. Okay, so now let's go through and look at the different settings. If I click on Dashboard, this is where I would be able to see this week's schedule. Now I am going to tell you there is a phenomenal app for your telephone. I highly suggest that you download the app for your phone. If you click on calendar, you can see your calendar. It's so much faster to do it on your phone. And customers, in our case, customers are students. Okay, so I want you to think of the word customer as student. Now, we're not going to make any changes here, but when we go to profile, you click your booking page. This is where we're going to start getting more detailed. The most important thing, well, shouldn't say this because it's all important. You want to have a unique URL. A lot of times it's just our last name .setmore.com. It can be anything that the student will Schaefirst setmore.com, that this will be meaningful to the student. So now this Schaefirst.setmore.com, this is what I'm going to put all over the place on my syllabus, on my announcement page, underneath in my signature, on my email. Okay, now for company name, I'm going to make it a little bit more specific. Maybe I'll put, because this is what the student is going to see at the top. So DBA book DBA. And here's my Google Voice number, all my contact details, and that's it. That's all that I'm going to include. I'm going to click down on business hours. You will notice Setmore automatically saves things. So this is the very important thing, time zone. We are going to, I live on the East Coast, so we're going to make this for Eastern Daylight Time because that's the time of the year it is. Be very careful that when that changes, when daylight savings times ends, if you're in an area where it does that you come in here and you change it, or you're going to have some very confused students. Booking policies, appointment lead time. I like my appointment lead time to be 18 hours. This is how far in advance does a student need to book an appointment with me. My booking slot is 15 minutes. How far in advance are they allowed to book appointments? I like to keep this to 2 weeks. Like they can't book an appointment for 6 months from today. So I do like to keep it 2 weeks. Now, these are the contact fields the students are going to have to fill out. It's a must that they include their phone number. Now, you'll notice if they're international students, the phone number is not going to make much sense, but we don't have the option of turning that on or off. Email, definitely a requirement. We do not need to require address. As optional fields, I like to include a Skype address so that if they are international, they include their Skype address. And I'm not going to make that required because students who live in the US tend to not have a Skype address, or if they don't have one, you can always meet in the Adobe Classroom. And I also like to include the module number. Each module, you may decide, you may have a DBA for module 3 and module 6. Well, we want to be sure the student tells us which module they want that particular DBA for, and that's going to be required. Address, I don't want to know. They don't even need to include it, so I'm going to uncheck that. I do put in notes for customers. I always let the student know I will call you within 10 minutes of your scheduled appointment. Sometimes if I have calls back to back, I may be running early or late. And if you are not in the US, I will meet you in Skype. This message is personal. It's what you want your students to know. Cancellation policy. Select appointments can be canceled. I allow students to cancel or reschedule anytime. I have found that if I require them to schedule within to cancel within 24 hours, a lot of times they end up being a no-show for me. And the app that you get on your phone, it will give you notifications when students cancel. Okay. Okay, we do not need to show prices because we are not charging for each call. I do show the duration of the DBA. I don't show the business hours, so they're basically only going to see the available slots. I am going to skip the staff because it is only me, so there's no reason for them to have to see an option. I'm not going to require them to log in. I am definitely you want to show the local time. If you're in a different time zone, this will tell the student which time it will be for them. It does that automatically. I'm going to keep all of these on. Show book another appointment button, yes. Show menu bar, no, the student doesn't need to see that. The fewer options the student has, the less likely they are to get confused. Oh, just jumped right back on me. Okay, so that's it for booking policies. Customization. Preferred language is English. Now, here's what the pages the students are going to see. I only want them to see one page. Again, it's going to make it easier for the student if they only see one page. I'm going to leave it in 12-hour time format, and everything else stays the same. Now I go over to settings, and this is where I'm going to be able to set up my schedules. I'm going to start with, you see, staff member. There's just me. That's all I have. And I'm not going to change anything at all on this page, but I am going to move forward to services. And you will see my algebra DBA and my physics DBA, 15 minutes each. I've already set that up. Working hours. This is all of the possible times that I would be able to work. So let's say Monday, for example, I want to take DBA calls, and we're just going to focus on Monday, and you can do this for each of your own days, but I just want to take DBA calls from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., but I want to do that such that, oh, the coffee's done if you'd like some. I'd like to do that I'd really like to take calls from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., from noon until 1, and from 7 until 8. So again, I want to take calls from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., 12 noon to 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. And I'm going to show you how you have to kind of fake the system. So for Monday, I'm taking calls from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., but now I use my breaks to get those times in. So I'm going to take a break from 6 a.m. until 12 noon. Okay, I'm going to add another break on Monday. I'm going to take a break from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you kind of have to work it opposite of what you think, but this will enable us to get those 3 different time slots available. So you always have to think about it as when you're not taking calls. And that will set up my Monday perfectly. Time off, these are the days that you have off. For example, I am not going to be working on July 4th. I'm not going to be working at all on July 4th, which happens to be a Monday. So I'm going to save that. So July 4th, it doesn't matter what times I had set, it's going to block it out completely. And that's how we set up our Set More site. And I forgot a couple of things here, and I apologize. Under settings, let's just now go to notifications. This is very important, and I apologize. I almost forgot about it. I want to send notifications to my customers, which of course are my students. I want to send notifications to them when they book, when they edit, or when they cancel. Book, edit, cancel. I'm going to keep both of those the same. Now, when a student books an appointment, we also want to send an appointment cancellation link, a reschedule link, and the ICS attachment. That's if they or their parents use Outlook. They're able to quickly get it put into their calendar. I don't know the technical way to say that, but I'm going to show you an example. And their time zone. And we do want to send them a reminder notice of an upcoming appointment. Oops. And we'll do that a day in advance. Okay, so now under settings, we're also going to go, oops, I meant under staff. So we did the customer notifications. Now let's do the staff notifications. Again, make sure it says include this attachment. Give the customer, again, that student contact information, and show the time zones. I do not get email reminders because I do have the app on my phone, and I also put it into my calendar, and I'll show you how we're able to do that. Under customization, the sender name, I'll always put Ms. First, and I'll sign it. I look forward to speaking with you. You could, of course, this is personal. Okay, and there we go. You're all set and ready to go. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go to the site and we're going to book an appointment. So we're going to go to shayfirst.setmore.com. This is the site we just created. You can see that notice right there. I put for you, it says our booking policy, I will call you within 10 minutes, and they have to click OK. You'd think that they would read it. It's not usually the case, but that's okay, at least it's there. And let's say I want to book an algebra discussion-based assessment, and let's go to Monday. Oh, I see on Monday Miss First is available from 4 a.m. to 5:45 a.m., 12 noon to 12:45, and in the evening. And this is exactly what the student's going to see. So I'll go ahead and set a 12:30 appointment. Okay, and I'm the student, and I highly advise you to, when you finish setting up your account, make a couple of example appointments. Now notice I have to fill out this information. Okay, module number, I'm doing module 3. And now I'm going to click continue. Oh, okay, it says confirm. Go ahead and book my appointment. Ta-da, I'm all done. So now the student's going to receive an email with that information in the email that they're going to be able to schedule or reschedule or cancel. And they're also going to receive a reminder email as well. As far as what we, the teacher, see, you notice I just got a Set More Notifications email. So I'm in my Outlook right now. I got a Set More Notifications email. It says, new appointment. Hi, Shay First. Your appointment has been scheduled for Monday. It's an algebra DBA, and it's with Sarah Student. Here's her email address and her phone number, and this is the module that she's doing. Now you see this little link here. If I double click on this appointment ICS link, it pops up. It pops up with what looks like another email. However, there's a save and close feature on it, and as soon as I click save and close, something magical happens. That just added that appointment to my calendar. So if I go out to Monday of next week, look at right there, there's Sarah Student. And if you have your email set up to your phone, this is also going to be automatically on your phone's calendar. Isn't that fantastic? Well, you're all set up and ready to go. If you have any questions, please never hesitate to contact me. Contact me, Shay First, or any of the other support system when you click on support. Make it a great day.